Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new reading vlog. Today is the 20th of May and I haven't vlogged in a long time, so I thought it might be nice to try and turn this into a weekend reading vlog. Currently in Malaysia, we are in the middle of our third lockdown and things aren't looking too great in my state at the moment, and that is the reason why I haven't really been in the mood to film or vlog or read for that matter for the last couple of weeks. But I'm gradually getting out of that slump and I'm really excited to show you the books that I'm planning to read over the weekend. Never mind the fact that today's Thursday, so I'm starting my weekend early. But anyway, I just started reading this book called Science and Islam by Ehsan Masood. I've talked about this book before. I think I had it on my list of books for the first booktube spin. I didn't read it at the time, but I thought this would be a nice one to get to this month because currently on booktube there is an event going on called Maybe Midrash, and I'm not strictly participating in that, but I thought it would be nice to read some books relating to religion. So this is the first one of those, and I picked another one called No God But God by Reza Azlan. I think this book belongs to Julian. I just found it on the bookshelf, but I'm really interested to learn more about Islam, so I think this might be a great place to start. Alright, so as I said before, there is a lockdown going on at the moment, so I am keeping my fingers crossed that I can still go out briefly to get some nice footage from the park or something, because otherwise this vlog is going to be very boring. So let's see if I can go out later today. If it doesn't rain, we usually go out for walks in the evening because I found that I really need the exercise. Hi, it's the next day, so I thought I will hop on and share with you some thoughts I have about this book that I started reading the other day. So this is Science and Islam by Ehsan Masood. This book focuses on scientific developments in the Islamic world between the 8th and the 15th century, so prior to the European Renaissance. I've just finished reading 2 chapters of this, and in the first chapter the author is hammering home the fact that the Dark Ages in European history was not necessarily a time where all this learning stopped, but it moved to the Islamic world. And in the second chapter we are looking at the history of Islam, so I think it's a pretty good overview of this religion in general. And this book is a companion book to a BBC series which I have not watched, but after this I guess I will be very interested to watch that series. This is the second edition of this book, and according to the introduction it's supposed to have a lot of corrections from the first edition, so I suppose that's really good. Overall, I'm getting the sense that this is going to be a quick, easy read and it will serve nicely as an introduction to Islam. It is Sunday the 23rd, so I feel like it is time to wrap up this video. I'm just hopping on to update you about the books I've been reading. So the first one I want to talk about is this one. I'm up to chapter 6.5. It's not quite halfway, but I'm really enjoying this one so far. Earlier in this video, I described how this book was talking about the history of Islam at the beginning, and now it's very much moved away from that. It is talking more about the scientific developments and also the things that led up to allowing this to flourish in the Islamic world. So it's really interesting. I didn't get to start the Reza Azlan book yet, In terms of other books I've been reading this week, I actually finished reading a book that I feel is a highlight so far of the year. So this is The Music of the Ghost by Vaddey Ratner. This is by a Cambodian American author who was a survivor of the Khmer Rouge genocide in the late 20th century. So this book is based around that event, and the main character is called Tira, who escapes to America, but she returns back to Cambodia to find out what happened to her father and the story behind that during that genocide. It is a beautifully written, atmospheric book, and I will talk about it a bit more in my wrap-up, but I really loved this one. Other than that, I haven't really finished any other books to speak of this week, but I'm still reading Orfeo by Richard Powers, and I have not gotten very far into this because it is really heavy on the classical music references, which I like to a certain extent. I'm a classical musician, but when it starts to get a bit heavy on that, it makes me a bit tired because I feel like I'm reading about work or something. So I haven't really come back to this after putting it down for a few days. The next book I'm reading is a non-fiction, and it's called Male Obsession by Mark Mason. I've read about half of it, so this is filled with tidbits from Britain and the author goes through the 124 postcodes, so he visits each location to find an interesting fact about each of those postcodes, or those places anyway. And it's very much reminiscent of those books by Bill Bryson, so it's got the same sort of humor and the same type of approach, I suppose. So yeah, nice and easy read. The last one I just started reading, and nowhere near finished, is called Yoruba Girl Dancing by Simi Bedford. This is about a Nigerian girl called Remy Foster who is born in Nigeria but is sent to a boarding school in England at the age of 6. So it is all about that journey. I think it's kind of a coming of age story, so I'm really looking forward to finishing this. I just remember that I am reading another book, but I almost forgot because it's on my Kindle and it's a Japanese book, so I'll just put the cover on the screen. But there is an English translation of this book called Quicksand by Tanizaki Junichiro. This is basically about a love triangle between two women and a man, where the man is married to one of the women, but the two women are also in a relationship together. So it was published in 1928 and it is a modern Japanese classic. So this is written in this really strong Osaka dialect, and I'm from Osaka, so it's really interesting for me to see that written down and being able to imagine what the dialogue sounds like, because it is very much different to standard pronunciation or word choices, I suppose. And I guess that would be quite lost in the English translation because there's no way to transport that into another language, but there is a particular flavor to an Osaka dialect, I think, and a Japanese person would definitely be able to recognize an Osaka dialect if they saw or heard it, even if they're not from that region. But some words are quite specific to the region, so people from outside might need to look them up, or they may not be able to understand the exact nuance for that word, if that makes sense. So after this, we are going out just briefly to take away some Indian food for dinner, because yesterday I saw that Freddie from the Sluggish reader had posted Indian food on his Instagram account. So I made a plan last night that I'm going to be eating Indian tonight. So I'm sticking to that plan and we're going to go out right now. Alright, I'm going to finish off this vlog here today. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know down below what you've been reading this week. Please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!